Yeah, everyone. Thought I'd do another industry thought bubble. I've been talking a lot around the rise of automation and the positive impacts that it'll have on MSPs to be more efficient, manage our um, squeezing margins, enable our people to do more exciting jobs, and reduce our risk through cybersecurity and so much more. And talking to owners a lot lately around this and the advantages and the overall need to start utilizing automation a lot more. But there's a common theme that I'm starting to see creep in, and that's the sort of dark side of our adoption and use of automation, and that's the impact of our frontline people. And most of what I'm finding is our frontline people are very worried around their jobs, their futures, and their careers from the use of automation. And it's not only impacting our adoption, but there's a sort of an undercurrent of fear and distrust of the culture, and quite a few MSPs are being impacted um, through that. So I wanted to talk today around how we should be communicating it and sort of what's next. Um, most of our people are fearful because so far they're either junior and only starting in their careers on the help desk, and a lot of that level one work is being automated away. So while they thought they had stepping into a career of great opportunity, all of a sudden there's a threat to starting. And the ones that have been around for a bit longer, that are sort of those high level twos, more junior level threes, what they've always known is working on tickets and solving these problems, but that's disappearing under their feet. And there's this big unknown around what career opportunities they have. So, consciously or unconsciously, a lot of them are pushing back on the automation path and not really adopting the technology and tools that are there, which is quite counterintuitive because we've always seen technical people like to uh, get to the end and solve the problem as fast as possible, but their value and their identity is all about their ability to solve those problems. So if those problems aren't happening, they're unsure where to what to do and where to go next. And yeah, it's a challenge, and it's going to be a challenge as we move forward in the industry. And it's something that we need to start observing and putting the right things in place to allow people to still come into the MSP industry, but for us to start providing different types of career paths. The traditional work your way up from a help desk, answer the phone, solve some simple problems, start to go out and site, start to do projects, and build yourself up that way. All those career paths are disappearing through automation, the changing needs of uh, client environments, support becoming more commoditized, etc., etc., etc. And what we've really got to understand as an industry is where we're actually heading, what value we're providing for our clients. And it's a lot easier to build those career paths up next. And when we speak about them, I've been speaking about them a lot. Cybersecurity as an example is obviously the hot topic and an important direction. But one thing, as more MSPs are taking that on, they're outside of not necessarily doing cybersecurity right. What we're not realizing is a lot of our people aren't actually suited for cybersecurity. If you're a problem solver and used to dealing with clients and solving their technical problems, most often cybersecurity isn't that. It's not sexy. It's compliance driven. It's processes, following processes over and over and over again. So those good help desk technicians often aren't suited to that. They might be suited to to incident response, but most MSPs aren't really in that game yet. So understanding those differences inside and nuances inside cybersecurity is really important. Being able to have those conversations with the techs themselves around their career trajectory, and while cyber is a very lucrative area at the moment, what particular area, what particular skills do they need, what particular qualities and attributes do they have? There's obviously still opportunities and always will be with some sort of networking and DNS. It's always going to be important no matter what happens. But a lot of the newer junior people coming through aren't really that technically minded. They're more customer service focused. There's obviously a lot more work in the space of collaboration and applications, but to really leverage that, the people need to be interacting with the software a lot more and understanding how it's actually used. Whereas a help desk, we're often not exposed to that side. We just create a user, or we solve XYZ printing problem or something like that. So getting them trained up in different ways to understand the applications and their uses is helpful. So obviously a lot of opportunity in workflow automation. So people that can actually script things or are more process driven, that can see and understand what a process is and document it and then find technologies to improve that. It is also a quite lucrative area. There's project management with technology, which is always going to be important, but as I've been speaking about for at least a year and a half, the types of projects we're doing are different. It's less technical, it's more enablement focused and requires a lot more not just project management skills, but actually customer service skills and training and consultative understanding, which also leads on to the business consulting side of understanding business challenges and being able to see what technology can be leveraged and the advice for that. You can see there's so many different opportunities coming. A lot of them are a lot less technical, which, seeing the types of people, like I mentioned before, the juniors coming in, being less technically minded, they're more customer service focused, that technology is secondary, there's that advantage there. So we need to look at offering our people different training, different opportunities to build their skills, and taking the time to actually sit down and understand them as people and what their qualities are, and being able to provide them the right mentoring and advice and a bit of direction of where to head, can stave off a lot of these fears of the unknown of, well, if I'm doing tickets and potentially the system that we put in can automate 70-80% of the tickets, well, my job's on the line. If we remove that and go, well, if I'm working towards being a trainer, I enjoy talking to people, I can see that I've got skills in working with people, and I can take my technology knowledge and share that with our clients and make money. It gives them something else to focus on while that work's going away, and they'll embrace it faster as well, because if they're excited and passionate about something, they will direct their energy into it. So the more that we can reduce this, we get those mutual benefits. But without having those conversations and understanding your people, you're not able to properly set a direction for themselves and keep them on board and keep the talent when recruitment and retention is quite difficult. So if you're an owner of an MSP or a senior leader, really trying to understand what's next is more important than anything. If we're not understanding what our vision is for our business, it's very hard to set a direction for our people and set training and development plans up. I know it's very difficult when we're so flat out all the time, trying to do the day-to-day work while we're working on potentially razor-thin margins for a lot of MSPs. But this is why it's important to slow down to speed up. The more disruption we're we're going to keep seeing over the next year, 2, 3 years. It's going to be more than ever. There's so many challenges coming at us. This is also that opportunity that I keep speaking of on the other side. And if you're building your own people and building for what's next, it'll be a lot easier to recruit others from other businesses that aren't doing these things right. And it opens up the pool of opportunity for you as well. So start thinking about what's next, start planning it, creating that vision, and really start investigating what opportunities there are for your people. Because that traditional go from level 1 to 2 to 3 tech in an MSP, it's really dead and dying, and it's only going to get more difficult as we implement more automation. And I just want you to think about if you roll out uh, some of the automation platforms that are removing a lot of the level 1 work, even triage and dispatch type work, how are you going to get um, junior people that are just starting out? How as an industry are we going to create the next generation? We've already lost it, and that's why we're having so many problems with our recruitment and retention now, because we lost a generation. If we don't start training and doing these things right now, we're going to have another generation that we're going to struggle to fill roles and grow our businesses and deliver good client services. So take the time to slow down, understand where you're heading, understand where the opportunities are, and start having conversations with your people. Create a plan, create a direction, give them training. There's plenty out there, and build them up for the next few years, and see the opportunities start to flourish from there. If if all this is sounding like it's a whole lot of work and uh, you don't have the time for it, you're going to end up with a lot of headaches in the next few years. We've already seen it from that, over COVID period where we had 30-40% churn of employees, and how much it's impacted our industry and each business as people have shifted. If you're not adapting to this more modern work and setting a direction for what's next, you're going to keep having this because people are on the move and people are in that sort of survival instinct. So if you're not um, being a good leader and setting those directions, people have other opportunities elsewhere. They've got financial pressures. They're going to keep moving, and you're going to keep having a disrupted business. So again, slow down, take a breath, plan out where you're heading, communicate with your people, and actually take the time to get to know your people. It's one of our advantages of being small businesses is we can know our team quite intimately and really create specific plans and relationships with each individual. So go out there. There's huge opportunity for those who want to take it. It's going to be a lot of pain for those who put their head in the sand or just expect it to magically get fixed. Hopefully this little thought bubble has created some thoughts and maybe shone the light on something you might be sensing or haven't been thinking about, and keep up with all the content I've been sharing, because this is one of my main focuses to help the industry. And I'll leave you with this final thought. If you're struggling to set a direction and know where you're heading, what are your people thinking? Um, if you've got talent and they've decided to leave, it's probably because they've felt like they've run out of runway in your business. The ones that are staying, and I'm observing this, it might sound brutal, there's a lot of mediocrity around. So if you're not investing in your people and you're worried about them leaving, what about the ones that you're not investing in and they're staying, which is the worst situation that you're going to get. So leave you with that thought. Go out there and conquer, and hopefully this has been useful.